something curious is happening with Lindsay Lohan. Now, Lindsay Lohan usually isn't in the news when it comes to political issues, but more recently, she's been making some strong statements in favor of Russia's leader, Erdogan, and Turkey's leader, Erdogan. We've talked about Russia so much that I got Russia on my mind. But yeah, she said a lot of favorable things about Erdogan, in addition to a lot of favorable things about Islam. So let me give you the details on that. First of all, there have been a number of photo ops that she's done in places like Turkey where she's wearing the headdress, but that's not rare for celebrities. A lot of celebrities do photo ops like that. However, over the weekend, this is according to the Daily Beast, the convert, formerly known as Lilo, changed her Instagram bio to Alaikum Salam, an Arabic greeting that translates to and unto you peace. Now, she deleted all of her photos, possibly because, you know, she had some bikini photos and things like that, and maybe it doesn't bode well for Islam if she genuinely did convert. But she was also quoted as saying this: "My very close friends who have been there for me a lot in London or Saudi, and they gave me the Quran and I brought it to New York because I was learning. It opened doors for me to experience spirituality, to find another true meaning. This is who I am." And then she said, "I was a bad person for holding that Quran. I was so happy to leave the United States and go back to London after that because I felt so unsafe in my own country after this. I mean, people were like horrible to me."
So this story is amazing, and I'm a little conflicted about it. So first off, if she really converted to Islam, an interesting choice. Okay?
Yeah.
And now, did she really? It's impossible to know until she flat out says it or not. That taking down the pictures and going to As-Salaikum Alam is some indication. Now, she wears a headscarf in Turkey, but in Turkey you don't have to wear a headscarf. It's not like it's Saudi Arabia. So that's more of a choice she's making. But like you said, other celebrities do it too, and there are more religious parts of Turkey where it might be more common practice. And that's just being respectful, so that's no big deal. Laura Bush has worn the headscarf to be respectful of different countries. Again, not necessary in Turkey, but that's fine, right? But the reality is probably what happened is she spent a lot of time in London. She's gone to rehab over 6 times, so she's got issues. She found some people her Saudi friends, who of course wanted to hang out with the celebrity Lindsay Lohan, and they were probably decent to her, you know. And they probably told her all these good things about their culture, right? And so when she is besieged at all times, she found some sanctuary apparently among her Saudi friends, and apparently in Turkey and with some Turkish friends as well. And there's a lot of wealthy Turks and Saudis running around, and that's her little bubble now. And so,
is she being funded by the Saudis? Is that what's happening? Lindsay Lohan's being funded by the Saudis.
And this is how they're going to take over the country. Okay. So look, the reason I'm conflicted on it is, so I'm not religious. I left religion. So anytime anybody converts to anything, you're like, really? That sounds, to me, it seems super weird, right? On the other hand, so what? She holds a Quran. And so I'm not with the people attacking her for that, right?
Yeah.
And if she converted to Islam, like, people are flipping out. I get it. It sounds like amazing and interesting to me too. But like, nobody flips out when Madonna becomes Jewish and does Kabbalah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the end of the world. Like, when other people convert, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting and weird and different. But when you convert to Islam, it's like, oh no, when's the bomb going off? What has she done? She's betrayed us all. Like, just calm down. She's having her own issues. So what?
Look, I don't care what religion she wants to convert to. I think it's interesting because oftentimes when celebrities or just private citizens go through a very tumultuous time in their lives and they've gotten caught up in drugs, or they've been arrested multiple times, or they've gone to rehab multiple times, which has happened to Lindsay Lohan, they usually do turn to religion. And I think it's more about redeeming themselves to society and changing their image more than anything else, to be quite honest with you. I'm not buying the spirituality thing. That's why a lot of times you'll see public figures or private citizens turn to born again Christian status, right? It's all about like, no, I had such a dark past, but I'm so good now, right? I'm a devout Christian. I'm super, super fundamentalist. In a lot of cases, they are. In this case, I don't know if she's going to be a fundamentalist Muslim. I doubt it, right? Especially considering the lifestyle that she's had for such a long time. But regardless, like this is actually not rare. I think it might be rare for them to turn to Islam, but oftentimes celebrities who have gone through some serious crap will turn to religion as a way of redeeming themselves.
No, but that's why I actually am giving her more credit in that this is genuine, man. This is not for PR. I mean, you go to
definitely not PR in the United States.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to be like, oh yeah, I become spiritual and forgive all my past sins, that's a layup. You go to Christianity, you go, oh my God, the Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
I found the Lord Jesus on my way to rehab and I'm fine now. So that's the oldest PR trick in the book. In America, you don't go, oh, don't worry, I found the Holy Quran and now as-salatu alam to you. That's not a PR move.
Yeah.
That's genuine, right? Right or wrong, it's genuine. So
I want to get to the Erdogan component of this because
Yes.
I think that's probably the most interesting. So Erdogan is a super questionable guy. We all know that. So there was the coup in Turkey, and Erdogan responded to that in some of the most brutal ways, right? People were murdered, journalists were detained, and still remain in prison as a result. You know, freedom of speech is no longer really a thing in Turkey. Like, people are afraid of him. And Lindsay Lohan thinks he's like a stand-up guy, right? So Lohan proceeded to utter the phrase, "The world is bigger than five," a slogan coined by Erdogan. Erdogan's favorite saying refers to his opinion that the UN Security Council needs to expand its permanent membership beyond its current 5 states, which includes China, France, Russia, and the United Kingdom, and the United States. Obviously, he wants to be included in the Security Council. So it's interesting to hear her utter that phrase that was coined by him. Also, she said, in regard to Erdogan's response to the coup, Erdogan did really well, and his people really admiring and respecting him as the first elected president. This is a big deal. I don't know why she's speaking like Sarah Palin in that sentence, but
I know, right?
It's fascinating.
She apparently has picked up an accent too. I don't know what kind of accent. Okay, so look, Erdogan would say the people that were killed during the coup were killed by the people who did the coup, but he certainly imprisoned thousands of people after the coup, some of whom deserve to be in prison because they did a coup against them and tried to murder him, and some of whom were conveniently his political opponents, right? And hard to tell which is which, and he just swept everybody up in that, and it was a power grab.
And look, think about his reaction to his opponents, like protesters who have taken to the streets to protest him. What has his reaction been to that? They've been met with severe force and brutality and violence. So Erdogan is not an example of like a stand-up guy who does right by its citizens.
And it's super, like, even if you disagree and you think Erdogan's okay, which not a lot of people outside of Turkey do, and maybe apparently a slim majority in Turkey do, right? But even so, to repeating internal political slogans that apply to Turkey, like the world is bigger than 5. What? What a random thing to repeat if you're Lindsay Lohan. That's just internal domestic Turkish politics.
It's weird. She's spreading weird propaganda, and I don't understand why she's doing it. So I'll give you another example real quick, because I thought this was a very fascinating quote. She says, "In Turkey, you have free will as a woman. It's amazing here. You can do what you want, and it's accepted. Whereas I am in America, and I am holding the Quran, and I am the devil." Okay, so that is not true. Okay, so the Global Gender Gap Index has data on this, and what they do is they look at 140 countries and try to figure out where each country ranks based on the way that they treat their women. So, oops, Turkey is actually rated as 125 out of 140, okay? The United States, surprisingly, number 20, and this is according to numbers in 2014. So, yeah, women in Turkey don't have as much free will as women in the United States.
So I'm surprised by that, to be honest. I'm not surprised that Turkey didn't do well in that context, but I am surprised at the difference between the U.S. and Turkey. Because, for example, the Turks have elected a female prime minister, and we've never had a female leader in America.
That's true, but if you look at the trend overall in terms of women in leadership positions in Turkey, the United States has done much better than Turkey has, right? So they're not just focusing on the leader, they're focusing on politicians in general. But also the thing that made Turkey rank so low was the issue of domestic violence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I could that's more believable. But so Turkey's not as fundamentalist as some of the other Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia Iran and the Gulf countries. That's why I'm surprised that they came in that low. But the bottom line is it's irrelevant. Like Lindsay Lohan has got some sort of Turkish propaganda in her head, and she's spouting these things. But my best guess is, like I said, the people who were there for her when she needed them, when she was down after all those rehabs, were probably rich Turks and Saudis. So now she's just quoting whatever she hears all the time, because it's hard to escape your own perspective. And in her perspective, she doesn't necessarily watch CNN or TYT or anything like that. She just sits there and talks to a bunch of rich Middle Easterners, and they're telling her that Islam is great and Erdogan is great and the world is bigger than five. If she ever gets to that old quote that we used to do chant in the Turkish American parades, then we know she's done for.
That Turkey is the biggest and there's no country that's even big.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what they used to make us chant that when we were kids. Afterwards, I was like, but that's not remotely true. What do you mean there's no other country that's even big? We moved to America because America's awesome. My parents are like, that's a good point. Anyway, let's move on.
So funny.
So if you hear Lindsay Lohan chanting that, you know we've got a real issue. If you like this Young Turks video, wait till you get a load of Young Turks membership. So many more shows and no ads at all. Come and see tytnetwork.com/join.